Hey there everyone, Mazrock here, and this today is going to be the Kyrian Blood Death Knight guide. We'll go over talents, Soulbinds, all that fun stuff, and we'll kind of cover it. Now, if you've watched the Night Fae and the Necrolord ones already, there are some stuff that are going to be repeated, things about the 4 set and things and that sort of thing, and what talents to pick there. So obviously the 4 set is very, very good for blood. Try and get yourself that as quickly as possible. For double legendaries, you're going to be wanting to use Crimson Rune Weapon pretty much in all times, especially once you get your 4-piece, although making Super Strain is not a terrible idea. For talents, Heartbreaker is the go-to before you get your 2 and your 4-piece. Blood Drinker is better for raid. Tombstone, once you get your 4-piece, will outperform, although with Kyrian, I find the flow actually works a little bit better with Heartbreaker. I know what the math says, and I know what the technicality says, where Tombstone should outperform, but I've done a few keys and some practice and things like that, and I think it just flows a little bit better with Heartbreaker, but that's your choice once you get your 4-piece, what flows better for you, what feels more comfortable for you to stay alive and do more damage. Because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what matters. If you're a tank, survive, then worry about your DPS. Hemostasis is still the best in all scenarios right now. With the 4-piece and how much you're going to be wanting to use Heart Strike with the Dancing Rune Weapon and all that fun stuff, you're going to want to use Blood Tap baseline. Will of the Necropolis, Grip of the Dead for keys, and Wraith Walk for raid, unless you do need some sort of AoE slow with Death and Decay. Voracious is kind of starting to outperform Bloodworms right now, and is much easier to keep yourself alive. Bone Storm is best for Mythic Plus or AoE scenarios. There are some AoE portions in the raid where Bone Storm is very, very good. For example, when you got to go downstairs on Anduin, or the big ad phase on Anduin. On Pantheon, this is nice last phase. You do have 4 targets, which this will constantly hit. There are some fights where this is Bone Storm is very, very good on. Aside from that, you're going to want to stick with Red Thirst. So I'm going to set these up right now. So this is what a raid setup would look like. If you want to pause it and check it out. This is what your M plus setup is going to look like before your 2-piece. And then this is what it could look like after your 4-piece. This is pretty much Tombstone for sure, but unless you're like me and you just find it flows a little bit better with Kyrian. Now, I do Tombstone with Necrolord and Night Fae, and it works very, very well with the 2-piece. It flows nicely. There's just something that works well with it, but I find Heartbreaker just flows a little bit better with Kyrian, but again, personal preference. You guys choose for yourself there. Next, we're going to get into Soulbinds, which mainly defensive and offensive. You're going to be running Mechanicos. You get more Shackle the Worthies with the capstone. All of the reasons why other tanks play Mechanicos are all the same reasons why you are going to play Mechanicos. Notable conduits are Withering Plague and the Covenant Conduit, which is basically the same for all the Covenants. Endurance Conduits, you're going to want Meat Shield. This is an absolute must because you're going to want that extension of Dancing Rune Weapon. Mainly that's the thing that you're going for, not the health increase, but you're going for that. And then for Endurance Conduit, second Endurance Conduit, Condensed Animospheres, healing actually does rack up big time over the course of an M+ run or a raid. And then for the Finesse Conduits, Spirit Drain and Chilled Resilience are both very, very strong. One setup that you might think about doing on this Necrotic week that I'm currently recording this is you might think about wanting to go Clea, because every time you use File, you'll be able to have 8 full seconds of immunity to Necrotic. This is very, very nice if you just want to plant yourself and stay, and you have a 3-minute cooldown that you can just deal with Necrotic and not have to worry about it at all. And then, of course, when you use File, you'll get the 20%. So this is kind of the setup you're going to want to go there with all of the same conduits that I just talked about earlier. But unless it's Necrotic week, you basically just want to go Mechanicos. Kyrian Blood Decay is fairly strong right now, and luckily the nice thing with Kyrian with Blood Decay is you can be the swapper of Covenants for your group as long as you have them all to renown. High enough renown, that is, but it doesn't really matter which one you go in. It will change your playstyle, but all of them perform very well. Some of them, of course, better than others, but it's not like, let's say, a Protection Paladin who basically has to be Kyrian and Mythic Plus to see any super real success like they do and how powerful that build is for that sort of content. Blood DK, you are much more open, where you just have to kind of change the way that you playstyle your playstyle a little bit. So, for example, Shackle the Unworthy, which is the Kyrian Covenant ability, admonish your target for their past transgressions, reducing the damage they deal to you by 8% and dealing arcane damage over 17 seconds. While the Shackle is active on an enemy, your direct damage attacks that spend runes, aka Heart Strike, have a 100% chance to spread your shackle to a nearby enemy. So this is where you're going to want your Death and Decay down, and then you hit Heart Strike. So then that way you can spread it as much as possible. That's the kind of key playstyle to working with that there. Notable trinkets that you would be looking for, of course, you're going to want a Blood Splattered Scale. Solely a Secret Technique is the one that I've been running because I have been fairly unlucky trying to get myself a Codex of the First Technique from Tazavesh. Drops off So Osmi, which is this one here, Codex of the First Technique. I have absolutely been trying to get myself one. It just will not drop. But this here for Blood Decays is performing very, very well. Solely a Secret Technique. Try and find somebody with haste, because haste right now, especially coming up with the 2 and the 4 piece, is going to be your prime stat. After that, you're going to want versatility, a little bit of mastery, and critical strike. These are not stats that you want to dump. For example, on my prop paladin, I'm trying to get to 8% critical strike again, but for this, you actually do want some critical strike to increase that parry chance because of the way the 2 and the 4 piece works. But mastery is also not terrible, but I think these two are going to be more evened out, and then haste and versatility are kind of going to be where it's at there. Now, I've been getting some new pieces of armor, so and gear, so my stats are way more wonky than what I would like them to be, but 'tis the world we live in. I'm trying to get more haste verse stuff, but sometimes you just don't get the drops you want in life, man. It's just the way it works. But those are 2 really, really good trinkets if you're looking for it for those there, as well as Solely a Secret Technique is a good stat stick for you if you can get yourself one of those. BDK is performing very, very well in Raid. Kyrian Death Knight is very strong. You have a very strong ability with Shackle the Unworthy. It loses value, though, because basically what happens is you really, really want the spread of the shackle to make it worthwhile. So with multiple enemies now, it's a lot better, versus before it used to be the best single target. So that's kind of where it is here. But if I were you playing BDK and maining BDK, I would absolutely level up Kyrian for the necrotic weeks, because File of Serenity is a fantastic way to just deal with necrotic and not have to worry about it. Like I said earlier, you can change into Clea and kind of work around it there. That's the quick guide to BDK. I've covered a lot more in the Night Fae and the Necrolord side of things, so just to not repeat myself, you can go check those guides down below. I as well do have a beginner's guide to Blood DK if you're looking for the basics of the actual kit itself, what everything does and how everything works. So then that way you can go check that out. Link will be down there below as well. I hope you guys are enjoying Shadowlands as much as I am. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff. This is a growing channel, and it cannot do it without you, the community, who have been incredibly supportive. Let's keep that going. Twitch stream down below, community Discord down below. If you're looking for a guild, my guild Bloodstorm is currently growing, and we're going to be doing some keys. We got raids on Thursday nights. Come by, check that out. Have a good time. If you're looking for more information, you can check the Discord link down below. I honestly hope you guys are enjoying Shadowlands as much as I am. Thank you very much for your time. Bye.